Cool. Marco made it just in time. Hey guys, this is Bradley Benner with Semantic Mastery. This is IFTTT SEO Academy version 2 update webinar number 6 for October 2016. We've got Hernan and Marco on. What's up, Hernan?
Hey guys. Hey everyone. It's really good to be here.
And we've got Marco. What's up, buddy?
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Okay. We're going to get right into the presentation slides with the updates. There's a couple property updates, and then there's some new properties we're going to add. I actually had 4 properties. I'm going to show you all 4 anyways that we can add that are pretty important properties. However, one of them is too heavily moderated, and everything that I've tried to put on that site gets deleted for spam because of the moderators. And so in fact, one of the pages that I created yesterday stuck for about 12 hours and then it got deleted. So I think I was like excited that it was working, and unfortunately I jumped the gun on it because it's Wikidata, wikidata.org. They're just too heavily moderated, and if you drop a link or any sort of promotional anything, they'll terminate the page. So anyways, let's get into this.
Stop spamming.
Sorry, go ahead.
You end up, stop spamming. You end up ruining the properties for the guys.
Yeah, but I even took the time to like build out the page where it wasn't spammy at all. It was right. Just kind of like a business directory listing, and it wasn't promotional at all. But they still deleted it. So I left it in the presentation because I didn't get time to pull it out, guys. But I would just say avoid it for now, unless Marco had a good idea. Maybe if you created a profile on there and contributed a lot, that you could build up like your profile as being a trusted editor, and then you could get away with it. But that's too much work for me, so I would just avoid it. All right, let me grab the screen. We'll jump on this real quick. This will be a short webinar, guys. No need for a lot of time on this. All right, updates for October 2016. This is what we're going to cover. Network property updates. Google third-party logins have been discontinued. One of our students told me that they had I don't remember who it was, but we're having a chat with Google support via Twitter or something, and they said that that the third-party logins have been discontinued. Now, I haven't confirmed it, but I trust that that was a true statement because it's still not available in Google Plus anymore to create the third-party logins. So I'm assuming that that was a true statement, and I trust that what they told me was correct. And so I'm just going to assume that you no longer can do that. And that's okay because we have a workaround for that. We're going to talk about that in just a minute. Pinterest recipes. I don't know how long Pinterest has been available inside of IFTTT because it's not something I use much really at all. But I saw it the other day and I was like, oh, wait a minute. Why haven't we set up a Pinterest recipe for syndicating to Pinterest? Because I know it's a powerful site. So I set up a couple test recipes and lo and behold, they work. So I'm going to give you, oh, by the way, they were already added. I added them when I tested them the other day to the IFTTT account workbook template. Guys, if you go take a look at the workbook template, you'll see that I added a WordPress to Pinterest. And that's the WordPress.com site. So it's a direct publishing from WordPress. It's not an RSS trigger. It's a WordPress.com trigger to Pinterest for blog posts. It won't trigger unless there's a photo. So for example, if you're using your WordPress.com site as a video syndication site, and then you have a Pinterest recipe from WordPress.com to Pinterest, it won't publish a pin because there's no image. If all there is a video embed, there's no image, so it won't publish a pin. But if you're publishing a post to your WordPress blog that has an image, it'll publish the image and it will link back to that post on the WordPress.com site. So you're pushing juice from Pinterest over to that WordPress.com post, if that makes sense. YouTube, though, it works beautifully. You get the YouTube embed directly into Pinterest, which is sweet, okay, because that's pretty powerful. So I'll give you those recipes in just a moment. They're on the next slide, and they're also in the account workbook template, okay? New properties, Crunchbase, Wikidata. I'd omit that one. That's the one I was talking about. Crunchbase, guys, is super freaking powerful. We're going to talk about that here in just a minute. Pen.io, very, very simple site, but it's very simple to set up. And you can add, data, use it for a backlink, use it as a semantic hub. You can also use it to add structured data to, which is beautiful because you can add an NAP details for those of you doing local to a pen.io page. SoundCloud.com, another powerful site. So we're going to talk about those too, okay? G+ About page, third party why did I say about page? Anyways, I'm not sure why I did that. Third-party logins discontinued. Must add page managers to access from other IPs. Basically, what I'm saying here, guys, is if you want to access, like before, we would create third-party logins so that you could access the Google Plus pages from like your own IP, or send them to outsourcers, for example, and they could access from their IPs, and it wouldn't trigger verification because you weren't trying to log in as the profile. You were logging in as the page. But again, that's been discontinued. So the workaround is you just have to add whoever it is that you want to access those pages as managers now. That's it. So that means if you create a persona account under a proxy, then just add your main profile, you that's listening to this webinar right now, add your main profile as a page manager. Then you can access from your login, from your IP, and it won't trigger any re-verification. If you're going to order done for you IFTTT networks from us, you have two options. Number one, you can have us create the Google Plus pages for you under a persona account, which we purchase our phone verified Gmail accounts now, guys. We had some support tickets come in from people that were complaining because they ordered a branded account, and the Gmail profile, the Gmail account associated with the profile was some random profile name. Who cares? Who cares? It's the Google Plus page and the YouTube channel that you brand. It's not the profile that gets branded. It's the page that gets branded. So if you want your own custom Gmail, then you've got two choices. Either one, create the Gmail account first, then create the page, and then add us as page managers, and there's instructions inside of SerpSpace on how to do that. Or we can create the pages for you under a persona account, which is going to be some random ass name. And then once we deliver the finished networks to you, you can reassign a page to a new profile. You can transfer ownership of pages. So if you already have a branded Gmail account, for whatever reason, why I don't know why people are so concerned about that, but if that's what you want, if you want the page to be under a branded Gmail account, then all you need to do is transfer ownership once you receive the completed networks. So it's entirely up to you how do you want to do it. I mentioned that only because that's come up a couple times recently, and I want to clarify that. But if you have anybody that needs to access your pages from now on, or if you want to be able to access your pages after creating them under a profile using a proxy, then just add yourself as a page manager, or add whoever you need to have access to those pages as page managers. That's the simplest way to do it, guys. Okay? And that won't cause you any problems. All right, new recipes. There's the links. There's also in the IFTTT, whatever, the account workbook template. In fact, let's go take a look at something real quick. I left my IFTTT open. Let's see if we can check this now. Last run 3 minutes ago. Okay, I bet you the Hump Day Hangouts webinar just now posted as a pin to my Pinterest account. Let's go take a look.
Nice. Just if I can add to what you're saying, Bradley, while you look for it.
Yep.
Pinterest recipes have been around for quite a while. I would say a couple of months, and we are getting, Semantic Mastery is getting a ton of traffic from Pinterest. And not only that, I have a couple of authority websites that they have. I don't know, I have a website that's getting probably 5,000 to 6,000 visitors from Pinterest.
Wow.
Only, you know, that's the main driver of traffic, Pinterest. So that's, on my case, it's a heavily underutilized network. And, you know, if you guys are in a niche that's because Pinterest is it's mostly female demographics, you know. So if you're in a niche that target that audience, you know, females from 25, 28 to 55, something like that, that has a lot of images, that is highly visual, that is you know, done for do-it-yourself, recipes, fitness, I don't know, luxury, stylish, those kind of niches that they can lifestyle, that they can be heavily visual. Pinterest is a killer. It's a killer. And I would really suggest that you go ahead and test it out, because it will also help you with your SEO. I have seen some improvements because of Pinterest backlinks, and not only because of backlinks, but because of interaction, of course.
And the traffic signals, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so guys, you can see that this is the Hump Day Hangouts episode 103 that we just finished, and it just published as a pin 3 minutes ago, and that was just automated through IFTTT. So there's the recipes and the account workbook template, guys. They're also on that slide if you want to take a screenshot, whatever. But you guys all have access to the template, so just go get it from there. It's the exact same one. You're just going to want to swap out your board name. Everything else can be left the same. All you're going to want to do is just make sure that you put the correct board name in there, okay? And that's it. Beautiful. So that was one. This was the Pinterest test that from the WordPress.com. That's the other recipe. So all I did was a Pinterest test with an image in the post. There was and here was the text of the post right there. And you can see that this actually links over to that post on the site. Does that make sense? So Pinterest is pretty powerful, guys. I don't know why. I had never tried this before. Like, I guess maybe just because I'm not a Pinterest user, it just never dawned on me.
Right.
And,
yeah, it has a certain demographics. I mean,
yeah.
I know my girlfriend can spend hours surfing.
Yeah, my daughter does too, dude. She loves it.
Yes.
She loves Pinterest. Anyways, all right, next. Where were we? Slides somewhere. Okay, so that's that. That's the updates to IFTTT stuff. Now, here's the new properties, guys. These are super, super powerful. Crunchbase is a semantic database, guys. It's very, very powerful. Google sources data from Crunchbase for its semantic web. Okay, so Crunchbase, don't spam it. That's why I actually set one up for a real business instead of the get it done stuff that I've been doing for the the demo network that I set up for IFTTT SEO Academy, because that's not a real business. So don't spam it. But if you're doing local business stuff, or you have a real business, or you're doing client consulting, local SEO, that kind of stuff, you can set up Crunchbase listings. And you can add a ton of data to them, which is really cool because you can like get all kinds of data in there. Like you can add images, you can add press release links, you can add YouTube videos, products with links to your product pages. There's all kinds of stuff you can do right there. Guys, what I'll do is I'll jump over real quick and grab the share link for this presentation. Let me make this public, or at least shareable, and I'll give you guys the link to this presentation. Wrong one. Okay, this is the Google Slides for today. All right, you guys can go check those out to get that, because like I told you, I give like a basic version of working procedures for how to sign up for these accounts and to fill them out. And there's the example. Let me actually go back and pull that open one more time. I want to grab the link from there. I should have had them on a notepad file today, and I didn't, so forgive me. Let's go take a look at this real quick. Crunchbase, very powerful site. This is the Mastery PR listing. Oh, by the way, I just realized I got for the local Kingpin training funnel that I set up. Shit, why do I keep doing that? There's the funnel that I set up for that training, or the pseudo brand that I set up for that local lead gen property. I sent over to Marketer Center for backlink or citation building, which is what I do for lead gen properties. I use Loganix for client when I've got an advertising or a marketing budget, but for my lead gen stuff, obviously I want to pinch pennies too. So I always use Marketer Center for that. Marketer Center, as part of their hyperlocal citations, it's either their big citation or hyperlocal citation, whatever. They will build a Crunchbase listing for you. It's pretty much the most basic of information for what they do. But they'll build the profile for you, and then you can always log in because they provide you with the login details from Marketer Center once they create the accounts for you. And you can log in and actually flesh it out some more, which I recommend you do because Crunchbase is a semantic database. So this is one of those properties that is worth setting up manually yourself, or if you have it automated, like semi-automated by having a service like Marketer Center create the listing, then I would still log in and manually flesh it out because you can get a hell of a lot more stuff in there. So the only person I don't have in here and look, Hernan, you were paginated. So Crunchbase doesn't like
What's
you.
that?
You were paginated.
Son of a... I'm going to send a complaint, man. I don't deserve that.
We didn't get Zane in there because he doesn't have a profile on it. But guys, you can add all kinds of data in here. There are no follow links, but it doesn't matter. It's a semantic database. It's incredibly powerful. Like I said, you can add news, so press releases. You can add products. You can add images and videos, all that kind of stuff. For example, if we go take a look at, like, I don't know, Outsource Kingpin, we'll take a look. You can see that we have a link directly to the product. We have a link to a press release that was published. We also have the image, and then we also have the videos. And this video right here is it just links directly over to the video. Okay, so very, very powerful. You can add, you know, board members and employees and all different kinds of stuff. So I highly recommend that you go through Crunchbase and set these up, especially if you have local businesses. I mean, I wouldn't set up a profile on here or an account if you don't, unless it's a real business, is what I'm saying. Okay, but you get your NAP details in there and everything. Okay, and let's go back to Mastery PR. Hold on. So you'll see right there is your NAP details. Okay, super powerful site. Highly recommend you go set that up. All right, next. Wikidata. Let's skip that because that's a piece of shit. No, actually, that's also a semantic database. The problem is it's too heavily moderated. I thought I attempted it a couple times and got my pages terminated like instantly. They were deleted by, I guess, the Wikidata algorithm or something. But then I got one to stick yesterday, and I was all excited, and I kind of bragged about it. And I went over and told Marco, I was like, hey, dude, check this out. And he was like, I couldn't get it to work, blah, blah, blah. And I was all happy that I was able to get it to work. And about 12 hours later, it was gone. It wasn't even 12 hours. It was like 4 hours later. It was deleted. So, and I really try not to make it spammy at all. So you guys can try if you want. I'd just say don't waste your time. Move on. Pen.io. This is a really cool little site. It's Media Temple. Media Temple Hosting. They have, I guess they created this. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's so that they can create a whole bunch of subdomains. I don't know why exactly, but whatever. They give you this free page that you set up. It's super easy to set up too. And then you can add in the editor, when you set up a page, the editor, it's weird in that like you drop images into place, and like if you can add embed codes for videos and maps. You can embed videos, you can embed maps, a Google Map, My Map, or a Google My Business Map. Either one. You can embed a Google My Maps or a Google My Business Map. This is a Google My Business Map for Semantic Mastery because it shares the same address with Mastery PR. Anyways, but it's pretty weird because once you save it and you go view the page, if you come back to edit the page again, like it changes like the links and stuff like that. I guess it's their own markup somehow. I don't know. I'm not a coder, so that's all shit. It's like Chinese to me. But anyways, you're able to add your own stuff here. You can add as many links as you want, as far as I know. I just added a couple. You can add your NAP details, which this is just plain text. But here's the cool thing. Now, I know that the formatting is weird, but if you actually, let's actually go take a look at this. If we copy this page and go look at this in the Google Structured Data Testing tool, which we will do right now, you'll see that I have local business markup on this page. You have to insert it as microdata though, not JSON-LD. If you insert it as JSON-LD, it will strip the code, the script, the JavaScript from it, and it will not validate. What the hell is going on? Why is the structured data testing tool not loading? Come on, Google, get your shit together. Let's try it again. There we go. All right, so let's drop this link in here. There we go. Local business. It validates, guys. See that? And if we scroll down to the bottom right here, for some reason, when you add the microdata, it formats funny, and it's probably just because of the div tags and stuff like that. And that's why when you take a look at it here, it looks funny, but I don't care if it looks funny. Just put it at the bottom. It's not the point that whether it looks good or not. The point is I've got now a nice NAP marked up correctly. Right? Does that make sense, guys? So pretty cool. Pen.io, I really like this little site. You can make it a semantic hub, so you could put like bullet points and put all your links to all your other profiles, and then still get your structured data NAP on there. All right, pretty cool. Next, and this is the last one, SoundCloud.com. SoundCloud.com, super powerful site. Whether you actually use it for audio files or not really doesn't matter. It's just the fact that you can create a semantic hub from it. So I'm going to copy this. We're going to go take a look at it.
As a side note, we have Semantic Mastery podcast on SoundCloud.
That's
so
correct.
if you go to Semantic Mastery, you will also see another example of a hub, and we have decent amount of listens and replays and whatnot. It's kind of it's a good network. Just if you use it as a semantic hub, sorry, of course, but since we're doing some audio and podcast, if you're doing some video, you can strip out the audio and upload to SoundCloud, and it will actually get you traffic and leads.
Yeah.
You get comments, so it's interesting.
So you can add up to 10 links, guys. Also, you can put your NAP in the description or the bio area. So you can actually get it's an unstructured citation, but who cares, right? A citation is a citation. They all count. So you can actually get an unstructured citation in the bio area, and then you can add 10 links. I need to change this one because that Wikidata page has been terminated. So I'll swap that out. But that's it. So you get basically this profile page here that you can now use as another spam target, and it just reinforces your brand, right? It just validates the entity even more. These are no follow links, but who cares? I don't really, I mean, obviously there's certain strategic things we can do with do follow links, but I don't care a site like whether they're, whether these are no follow links or not, because they're still powerful. You're still reinforcing your brand. You're still interlinking, validating the entity. Okay. And like Hernan said, it's not just about the SEO. You can also get traffic from SoundCloud if you do what he said. And that's like, you can strip audio from videos if you're doing video stuff, whatever. Okay. Pretty powerful. So there you have it. That was pretty much it. Short and sweet. I think the next thing was just don't forget to add the new properties to your semantic hubs. That I would recommend doing, so that, go back and add new properties to, for example, your Google Plus about page, your YouTube about page. Whether I think you only get like 15 links on YouTube. So at this point, you're going to be full up, but you can add them to Gravatar, for example. You can go back and add them to a Google Doc if you have like your blog rolls and your and Blogspot and WordPress.com, that kind of stuff. Don't forget to do that, guys. And like I said, every month we're going to add another 3 or 4 properties, sometimes maybe even 5, and we'll go through it just like we did today. Okay, we've got time for a few questions, so let's do it. By the way, I love that meme. Damn spammers. I know, Clint. I know. Bad boy. I thought I got away with it too, man. I was all proud of myself. Tons of traffic from Pinterest, just from random infographics. Yeah, I know John Ledger. Is it Ledger or Leger? I don't know.
I call him Ledger.
I've heard it both ways.
He pronounces it Leger.
Yeah, I've heard it both ways. But I know he had the Pinterest tool was relaunched this week as version 2.0 or whatever. I forget what it's called. It might still be available. I played with it last year, the first version of it, and I was able to get some traffic from it, but I'm just not, I can't stand running tools for very long. I lose interest rather quickly, so I just never really put it to use all that much. I tested with it a little bit, and that's the whole reason why I had a Pinterest account at all, was only because of that, like because I was testing that software, and it was a good software. I actually drove quite a bit of traffic within just like running it for 2 days. But like I said, I just haven't, I don't use Pinterest for much, and I'm not one that likes to run tools. I get really bored with them very quickly. So anyways, that's it. Anything else? Let's see. Yes, Crunchbase is one of the first citations that showed up for me from Marketer Center. Yeah, those are really powerful. Really powerful. In fact, let's go take a look at something real quick. We've still got about 7 minutes. If you guys have any questions, post them on the page, because we're going to wrap it up in just a minute. Let's see, what am I looking for? Local. Let's see. Yeah, this is it. This is an old one. I think the last time this was updated was in 2014. So this is rather old now. It's a couple years old. Let me drop this on the event page. You guys can take a look at this. But this is like the linked open data cloud. So this shows where like the semantic web, some of the connections of where data is sourced, and it's got, and you can zoom in on this. I will in just a moment. But there's this color legend over here will show you like what types of sites they are, and how it's like distance graph. If that's what Marco talks about, the distance graph, you'll see that here, and you'll see where some of the sources for the semantic web are being, where the data is being sourced for the semantic web. This is and by no means a complete diagram, because it's old now. It's a couple years old, but it gives you an idea of what the semantic web is. So hold on a minute. This is the LOD cloud. All right, let's go take a look at this. We'll zoom in a little bit. This is a busy image. It's really cool though. Like I mean, you'll get an ice cream headache if you spend too much time looking at it. But it shows in here, like for example, and you can tell this is old, but like Freebase, you see how like this was a massive semantic database that had a lot of clout. Let's put it that way. Well, Freebase is no longer exists. Google bought Freebase, and then they closed it down, and now they transferred all of the data from Freebase into Wikidata. and that wikidata.org. And that's in part why I tried to include Wikidata as one of our semantic hubs, because it's a semantic database. And I used to set up listings inside of Freebase, very much like Crunchbase. It was also heavily moderated, so it had to be real business data. But so Wikidata now, wikidata.org is now what used to be Freebase, but it's too heavily moderated. But if you go through here, and I'd have to like WordPress, you see WordPress up here, guys. And if you scroll through, you'll see Crunchbase is in here somewhere. Here's TypePad. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in here. And that's why I'm saying adding additional properties to our networks, even though we're not syndicating to a lot of these properties that now we're adding every update webinars, guys, it's because they are validating the entity. Because the more places that you can link a brand to on these different properties, the more authority it builds. And it's not about the SEO juice. There is that, don't get me wrong. There is the benefit of the SEO juice, but it's just about having a presence on all of these interconnected, interlinked properties. And that's what elevates the authority of the site, which will help you to rank because your site is weighted more in Google. Does that make sense? It's a heavier weighted site, which means all things being equal, if you had a competitor that's optimized exactly the same as you are, which isn't possible, I understand, but let's say hypothetically that they were optimized the same, they had the same number of backlinks, the same on page, but you had a higher authority because you had a profile, a presence on more of these types of properties. You should have a higher brand authority, and therefore you should outrank the competitor. Does that make sense? And that was also a question in Hump Day Hangouts today about how to manipulate Google Auto Suggest. And that's what I mentioned was crowd search, crowdsearch.me. And that's why navigational searches work so well, because navigational searches will not only increase brand signal searches to Google, right? Because now you've got people searching for that brand name of the site that you're trying to inflate, right? So you're increasing those brand search signals, which Google loves to see, and that will increase your site weight, therefore increasing your authority. But at the same time, you can also manipulate Google Auto Suggest. It takes time, but over time, you can actually get your brand searches to appear in Auto Suggest when somebody starts to type in letters that would make up your search, your brand name, if that makes sense. And again, that has to influence the semantic web. That has to do with influencing it. Okay, so this is a really cool image. You guys can take some time to look through that if you'd like. Okay, what about adding additional properties that are, oh, did I miss something? Yeah, I might have. Hold on a minute. Okay, Crunchbase rocks. I have been using it for a long time. Yes, it is an awesome property. Version 1 sucks, so I skipped to version 2 because of lack of support. Using follow likers Pinterest tool now. Oh, you must be talking about the John Leger or John Ledger tool. Is that what you're talking about, Clint? I think so. I haven't tested V2 because I played with V1 and it was I have no patience for software tools. I just don't have it. I don't have it in me. So I was using Snap plugin before. Do you recommend using that still for properties that are not part of the IFTTT network? Yeah, you can, Dawn. You absolutely can. The only reason why I don't like the Snap plugin is because it's a plugin and it will hog resources on your server. Especially the more properties you add, the longer you'll notice that when you go to publish a post or a page or, a post, I don't know if Snap will syndicate pages, but posts, you'll see that when you click the publish button, that little wheel will spin forever as it's actually going out and posting. And so that's why I don't use any syndication plugins. I only use RSS triggers because it doesn't load the server at all. But I know a lot of people like the Snap plugin. I know Hernan and Marco have used it a lot. So
yeah, with the same caveat, if you go crazy with properties, you will get timeouts and stuff will not post. So, but if you find like 3 or 4 additional properties that are really powerful, then by all means,
Yeah. Wayne says, I want so much to make a smart-ass Maroc, but I got nothing. I've got nothing to add to this conversation. Wayne, I'm sure you'll meme us with something. Greg says, I've been able to add all the properties from the last webinar, Pearl Trees, Brand Yourself, and others, and they are picking up good metrics fast. Very cool. Yeah, Greg, that's the whole point. Thank you for that, by the way. But that's the whole point. Like, this wasn't intended when we were going to do update webinars originally, but I just realized how powerful it is to continue to add more and more properties, especially the ones that have that are part of the semantic database, you know, or we call them semantic hubs, because they're just going to completely reinforce that brand, right? It's going to elevate brand authority. And that's even, again, it doesn't matter whether we can syndicate content to them or not. It's the mere presence of being on those properties that will help. So over time, you collect those up, you know, and you end up having a really, really powerful brand. What about linking additional properties that are in noam.com? Yeah, sure. I mean, you can go through and guys, you know, I'm just hand selecting a few every month, but this is a good place to go and look at some, you know, find some additional options. Another good thing to do is if you've ever bought anything from Loganix, like I do a lot of my client-based, my clients that I do, you know, that I do SEO services for as my agency, because they're paying me a certain amount every month. I take about 40% from every one of my clients and reinvest that into just outsourcing services and, you know, just maintenance or whatever to keep them ranked. And so I use Loganix for that because I have a marketing budget for every one of them. And so Loganix, if you order their monthly citation building service, it's $150 a month. But after a few months, I mean, they've come out of the woodwork with some awesome sites that they get links on for you. And they're unstructured citations. I mean, there are structured citations. You get those every month, a certain amount of them. I think it's like either 10 or 20 every single month. You get structured citations, and then they throw their own link network behind that. So they power them up. But then they'll add like 20, I think it is 20 unstructured citations, which are a lot of properties like what you can find here. But they've got some really good ones. In fact, what I might do is, because I've got a couple clients that I've been using Loganix now for over a year. So I've got some pretty extensive lists of sites. Maybe I'll just do a dump on you guys next time and just give you the entire list. We'll still add like 3 or 4 properties every week or every month, excuse me, when we go through the webinar. But maybe I'll just dump the whole list on you. If you guys want to go to town sooner, do it. You know what I mean? So I'll make a note of that, in fact. Let's see. Add Loganix list, because they've got some really good ones, stuff that I'd never even heard of. So I'll add that for the next webinar. Okay. All right, we got to run out, and I got to go, guys, in just a second. But let me answer the last couple questions. Can you explain what semantic means? Semantic web, semantic hub. Semantic means
related.
Yeah, it
That's
means
what
related,
it means.
right? And the semantic web is just the way that, like, for example, if you looked at that linked open diagram here, it used to be that Google would only, Google would rely on its own index. It used to be before Hummingbird, which was the onset, the beginning of Google implementing semantic technology, semantic search technology. That started at Hummingbird, right? And that was what? That's at least 3 years old now, I think. Hummingbird. At least 2 years, maybe 3 years old now. And RankBrain is a part of that now as well. But it used to be where Google would only rely on its own index. In other words, you would submit data, submit web pages, content to Google, and if it indexed it, then it would source its own index based upon keywords to determine relevancy of content, and that's what it would serve, right? But obviously, because of spammers, because of us SEOs, us rascally SEOs, and we learned how to manipulate the algorithm and rank our stuff, rank our shit. They started moving towards the semantic web, which has been in development for many years. In fact, what is it? Russia, Yandex, they're 100% semantic based. It's not a link based search engine anymore. At least it was a couple years ago. I can't imagine it's gone back to links. So this just gives ways for them to source data from multiple locations to kind of validate entities, and that's what do they call it? Things, not strings, that kind of stuff. If you want to know more about the semantic web, I'm having a hard time just defining it in like an elevator pitch. But if you just do some searches, Carol, online for semantic web, what is it? What does it mean? There are a ton of resources that you can learn more about. Okay, one of the best books is David Amerland's. That's his name, right? David Amerland. I think that's it. Amerland. Semantics. He's got a book. Let's see. This should be him. I read his book a couple years ago when it first came out for semantic search. I think that's what it is, semantic search. In fact, let's just take a look real quick. I got to go, but you got me on a topic right here. Yeah, it's this book right here. This is Semantic Search Book. You know, it's to quote Adam Moody, he said it's a bit wordy, because it's a book about semantic search, and it's not an easy read. It's not like a page turner, but it's a pretty good book. And this actually was published in 2013. But if you want to get a better understanding of what the semantic web is and where Google, at least where we think Google is trying to go with it, this is a great book. Okay, highly recommend it. All right, I really got to go. Let's see, this one's been around forever. Namecheck.com, +1 for the dump. Okay, doing a list dump would be great. Okay, guys, I will. If you give me the list, I'll strip out the exact URLs and rank by trust. Okay, Clint, cool. Thank you for that. I'll definitely send that over to you. I've just got to clean the list out a bit, because I'll have to go through my spreadsheets that they send me and just pull all the URLs, and I'll send them over to you, Clint. I'd appreciate that. That's awesome. Thank you for helping. Don says off topic, but what of IFT, what is the best theme template software you recommend for creating local lead gen sites that I can easily scale with? ClickFunnels, Don. ClickFunnels. I couldn't imagine living without ClickFunnels now, and that's why I push it so hard in Local Kingpin, because it's absolutely the best way ever, in my opinion, to build landing pages. You can build full-on websites in ClickFunnels now, guys. You don't even need WordPress. The only thing is that you don't, as far as I know, there's no RSS feed, so for syndication purposes, you still need WordPress, as far as I know. But you can build full-on websites with ClickFunnels now. So I use ClickFunnels for absolutely everything now. In fact, the second case study that I'm setting up for Local Kingpin right now is entirely done in ClickFunnels, including the maps ranking part of it. So not even a WordPress site involved. All right, guys, I got to run. I got to go get my daughter. So I will see you guys next week. Thanks for everybody being here. Thanks, Marco. Thanks, Hernan.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.